This is a test of the City of Palatka audio system.
Go ahead. Good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to the City of Palatka's Commission meeting for October 27th, 2022. This is a special meeting for us. This is our Students in Government meeting. And so we get an opportunity to watch our young folks at work today. So at this time, we're going to call this meeting to order. We'll have our invocation by Chaplain Alonzo Mulberry, followed by our pledge by Mr. Mayor. Everyone, please stand. Chaplain Mulberry.
Yes, sir. Father, we thank you once again for this day. We thank you for how good you've been. Father, you blessed us to come together once again for a meeting tonight. We say thank you. Pray that blessings upon the minds of the people, let the young people learn and watch and observe and do all that they can to be the future furtherance of our city. We pray, God, for everything that will be discussed tonight. Let your glory be revealed, your power be felt, and your anointing be great. Whatever you do, God, in the midst of your people, we'll praise you and thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Please join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Thank you. Commissioner Tammy McCaskill. Here. Commissioner Will Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Justin Campbell.
Present.
Commissioner Rufus Borum.
Present.
Mayor Terrell Hill.
Here.
All members are present and accounted for. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll have approval of minutes from the October 13th meeting. Has everyone had an opportunity, including Commissioner Campbell, to review those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes from October 13th.
It's a motion on the floor in a second by Commissioner McCaskill. Is any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up is our public recognition and presentation. This is the time that we get to watch our young people at work. And so we're at this point, we're going to turn the meeting over to our students. Let's give them a round of applause as they get situated.
Meeting is now called to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Simon, present. Commissioner Matson, present. Commissioner Wiggins,
Present.
Commissioner Keeley,
Present.
Mayor Mack,
Present.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
On item 2A, we will hear from our presenter, Mr. Justin Campbell.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. I am standing before you today as a citizen who has been inspired to come before you all on behalf of the citizens of Palatka. We notice that there is a dire need for extended education after school, resources after school programming. So we're coming before you today to see if there's anything that you would be able to do as far as providing funding to already established programs or create a position within the city that will be solely dedicated to after school programming. It's our hope that you all will be able to assist the citizens and most of all the students of this city who will one day sit where you all are sitting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell, for bringing this concern to the commission. I will now open the floor to commission discussion.
I am intrigued to explore the possibilities for an after-school program. I would like to hear from the other commissioners.
Commissioner Keeley.
I believe this is a good idea, but before we make a promise, I believe we need to see if we have the adequate funding.
Commissioner Simons.
I really like the idea of expanding the educational programs outside of the school day, but my only concern is how long will the program be?
Commissioner Matson.
I also really like the idea, but do we have the facilities and the means to begin this program?
Madam Counsel, is this something within our legal jurisdiction of this body?
This would be within our jurisdiction as long as we do not try to open up our own school. The after-school programs would be nice to see as long as, it's not stepping on the toes of the public education system.
City Manager Matthews.
is the creation of this program and position within our city budget?
Mr. Mayor, the city has a healthy reserve balance at this time. As you all are aware, this program and position was not funded this fiscal year. However, if it is the will of the commissions, staff can bring back a budget amendment to allocate fundings for the program and for the salary and benefits of this coordinator position.
Commission, you have heard the comments of the presenter, city attorney, and the city manager. I will now entertain a motion.
I make the motion to start after school programs.
I second the motion.
We have a motion on the floor, which was properly second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, same sign, vote please.
Aye.
Motion passed 4-1. Seeing no further business before the commission, meeting is now adjourned. I'm now bringing the meeting to the Mayor Hill.
Before we adjourn, can we get a quick picture with the commission? And we'll come down. We're gonna come down and we'll just take it right here. Want to take it here? Or should we come down? They can sit in the seats. They'll sit in the seats. We'll stand behind them. And I wish our meetings were that quick. Council, can y'all come up for us?
Wait, you want?
Madam Clerk, can you be in the picture? We'll squeeze.
Can we squeeze
We'll squeeze down a little bit. Bring that chair over a little bit.
We want to be in my spot. You can come on. No, son, you stay right there.
Come on, McKenna.
Let's give them another round of applause. So Ms. Krantz, as the students are going back to their seats, can you just give you or Commissioner Campbell give a summation of what goes on for us to be able to put on the activities for today?
Thank you, Mayor Hill and Commissioners, for the great opportunity to bring the youth ambassadors before you. As you're aware, the Youth Ambassador Program was initiated this year. This is the inaugural session of the Youth Ambassador Program of the City of Palatka. I'm pleased to report that this program is very well received amongst the school district, teachers and faculty. And our presentation is going very smoothly. The first couple meetings, I had the opportunity to give a civics, City of Palatka Government Municipalities 101 course. Also gave them a round of presentations on parliamentary procedures. And every meeting, it is the goal of the program to have a different department director come to the meeting and give them an overview of what their department does. The ultimate goal of the Youth Ambassador Program is to teach our students what city government is and to allow them to go back and tell their fellow students what a wonderful opportunity that the city provides for employment and that the City of Palatka is here for them and there are jobs right here in our community when they graduate. Thank you again.
And so in addition to what Sunny has already stated, this has been something that the Florida League of Cities has been wanting the City of Palatka to do for a long time. And with the blessings of the commission, more specifically, Commissioner McCaskill, who was one of the figureheads in this as well, giving me the blessing to go ahead and start while she dedicated her time to furthering her education, we were able to commence. And what you see today will be the future youth and leaders within this community. They have worked diligently. They have come to special call meetings amongst themselves to make sure that they were prepared for today. And believe it or not, what they came up with, the topic was something that they came with amongst themselves. So we look forward to continuing to have them as the face of our youth ambassadors. And we look forward to having them within the community when we are in the community. And so we thank you all, and we look forward to continuing to work with you as we grow Palatka.
Quite simply, if you train a child in a way that you'll have them to go when they get old, they won't depart from you. What we're looking to do is train these young people to be tomorrow's adults. And this is the first step of many in moving forward with making sure that our greatest investment in this city are the young people that stand before us. And today is another opportunity for us to celebrate our youth, as we always do. And so that's where we're moving. We're not moving to it because it's something that we've been doing continuously, but we're going to make sure that we continue to invest and reinvest in our young people so that they can come back and want to be in Palatka and raise their families when they return from getting their training and going off to college or the military or wherever, but they want to come back and make Palatka home, and they want to continue to raise the next generation of Palatkans. And that's what we're looking forward to doing. And we're just absolutely proud of the work that our young people are doing. So again, thank you guys very much. Next up, Student of the Month is canceled for, so we're gonna move into something else. So we're gonna do something a little different this month, when we do our Student of the Month. We've got a couple schools that have to get their awards for me. They have to get their awards and they have plaques to pick up. We've got a few students who are here from last month who were unable to attend because of various events. So we're gonna do Student of the Month this year. Accompanying me for Student of the Month, Mr. Mayor, you gonna help me out this time? Hey, I know it's not on your script, I got you. So I'm coming down to you. So first up, Student of the Month from September 2022. We're gonna ask the students to come up. And as the students come up, you will come up with the educators and you'll assemble across the front of the room. We'll take a picture from the newspaper, then we'll take breaks so that parents will get an opportunity to commemorate the event. And so first up, we're gonna have our September 2022 recipients who were unable to make it before. Student of the Month, Allie Norris, Hillcrest Academy. Next up, Pinal Baptist Academy, Brianna Jordan. We have a plaque for Hillcrest Academy. And also one for Pinal. Next up, Student of the Month for October 2022. From Browning Pierce Elementary School, Anaya Camps. Children's Reading Center Charter School, Emory Rife. Hillcrest Academy, Naomi Lawson. James A. Lowe Elementary, Michaela Griffin Johnson. Kelly Smith Elementary, Peyton Meadows.
Accepting that one.
Mr. Griffith will accept Peyton's certificate. From Mellon Learning Center, pre-K, Council Commissioner McCaskill. Everdeen Stackpole. There you go. From Mellon Learning Center, K through 12, Evan Hammett. From Mosley Elementary, Shannon Glisson. Palatka Junior Senior High School, Jaden Williams. I'm gonna guess she's related to Michael Speaks. From Penn Baptist Academy, Darby Speaks. And from Putnam Academy of Arts and Sciences, Alana Brown. There's somebody else that looks like you here, right? And so first off, we want to make sure that we say thank you to the parents and the extended family members who are here, who've invested in these young people, because it truly takes a village to raise a child. And let's give a round of applause. Parents, will you stand for me? And there's another group of individuals who are assembled around this room, some in Zoom land as well. And that's our educators who oftentimes don't get enough thank you. They often hear complaints, but they never hear as many thank yous as they deserve. They sacrifice, they spend their own money to buy supplies. We just need to tell them just how much we're appreciative for them investing into our youth and continually pouring into them when we can trust them with it. So again, let's give the educators a round of applause. And lastly, to our students, we are so proud of you. And we are just elated to have you stand before us and be the leaders of the future, because you're truly the leaders of the future. So I oftentimes say, every time I do students, I give you the same message. I'm now 50 years old, and that seems like I'm ancient. So, but when I was in the 3rd grade with Miss Green, every day we started out the day by saying, I am somebody. If my mind can't conceive it and my heart can believe it, I know I can achieve it because I am somebody. You guys are somebody great. You're destined for greatness. You are blessed beyond measure, and we are so proud of you. So continue to do the wonderful things that you're doing. Continue to be good citizens, make great choices, and lead by example. So again, let's give them a round of applause. So at this time, we're gonna keep the students up front, and we're gonna ask that, and so we're gonna have our students take a picture for the newspaper first, and then we're gonna take individual pictures. So we'll take a brief recess so that everyone can get as many pictures as they want. Parents, feel free when your child's turn comes up, join in and take a picture with them to commemorate the moment as well. So at this time, we're gonna stand in recess. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and call this meeting back to order. We'll move on to item 3C, which is proclamation for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October 2022. Our Cancer Center of Putnam is here with us at this time. Dr. K and anyone else who's from the Cancer Center, would you please come forward?
Whereas in the United States, 1 in 8 women and 1 in 800 men will develop breast cancer in his or her lifetime, according to the National Cancer Institute. And whereas breast cancer is caught early, treatments such as hormone replacement therapy work best, and survival rates increase with recommended mammograms and breast cancer screenings that play an essential role in early detection. And whereas this month, as we honor those lost to breast cancer, let us join with the loved ones who celebrate their memory and the patients who battle this disease every day, as well as our nation's advocates, medical researchers, and healthcare providers to renew our commitment to better prevent, detect, and treat breast cancer. And whereas during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we recognize all those who know the anguish of breast cancer and extend our heartfelt concern for all who share the pain and difficulties of this disease. Now, therefore, I, Terrell Hill, Mayor of the City of Palatka, together with the members of the Palatka City Commission, do hereby endorse and proclaim that the month of October 2022 means Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Palatka. And we hereby encourage our citizens, private businesses, nonprofit organizations, and all other interested groups to join activities that will increase awareness of what we can do to prevent and control breast cancer. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the official seal of the City of Palatka this 27th day of October in the year of our Lord 2022.
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you, Mayor Hill and city commissioners and city officials and those in attendance. Thank you for keeping this flame alive. And I was reviewing some statistics for an article. And this year so far, from January of this year to the end of September, we had approximately 24 breast cancer patients that we took care of. And the point I want to make is it so happened 50% of those women, 12 of those 24, could just have the lumps removed, whereas the remaining 12 required to have the breast removed. So what that immediately tells me is we are not really reaching people to get that disease diagnosed early enough so that it wouldn't have to have a mastectomy, right? So despite, so this sort of thing is very important, and I'm appreciative of all of you for being mindful of it. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. And so in addition to what Dr. Curbilla spoke of, there's an additional challenge that goes out to the commission as a whole. I think everyone in this room knows at least one person who's been affected by breast cancer. And I think Dr. Curbilla is a gem to this community. His staff, his facility, they're second to none, they're state of the art, and they're committed to making sure that the citizens of this community receive the best medical care possible. But they're also committed to making sure that those patients also have additional needs met. And so I'm challenging our commission to assist in making sure that the word gets out to the community as a whole. In whatever ways that we can collectively as a commission, as a group within the city of Palatka, to be able to help in those efforts, because it's a community issue. It is a community opportunity for us all to be stewards of a very worthwhile cause. We all participate in cancer walks throughout October. We all have been affected in some way by cancer within our families, within our lives, with our friends. And so as a commission, we will put our thinking caps on and find a way that we can actually help to forward the cause, to make sure that Dr. K and his team, as well as the rest of the community, realizes that this commission is there and we're fighting and we're pushing forward to make sure that more people are served in the community, and that we can come back and report that of all the cases that they've all been detected early enough so that there wasn't a need for removals. And so let's make sure that we just continually push forward and educate our community as a whole. So again, thanks, Dr. K, for all that you do. And again, we just want to push awareness out. So let's give him another round of applause. Next proclamation is Runaway Prevention Month.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Scott?
Whereas November is National Runaway Prevention Month, and whereas National Runaway Prevention Month began in 2002 and is presented each year by the National Runaway Safe Line, the federally designated national crisis and communication system for youths ages 12 to 21 who've run away, are considering leaving home, or experiencing homelessness. Whereas runaway youth are often expelled from their home, having experienced trauma, struggled to meet basic needs, and are at increased danger of falling into high-risk situations, including human trafficking. And whereas together we can work together to raise awareness, provide support, and offer resources for the vulnerable young people in our community. Now therefore, I, Tyler Hill, Mayor of the City of Palatka, together with the members of the Palatka City Commission, do hereby endorse and proclaim that November 2022 is Runaway Prevention Month in the City of Palatka. And we urge our citizens to advocate for and provide safer alternatives to this vulnerable population of young people, and support the effort to increase public awareness about education on behalf of, and provide positive and safe alternatives to runaway and homeless youth and their families. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the official seal of the City of Palatka this 27th day of October in the year of our Lord 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to Thorny, second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Let's give a round of applause for Runaway Prevention Month.
I thank you all again for proclaiming this month, or November actually, National Runaway Prevention Month. As you can see, I did give you a flyer. CDS is hosting an event to shine a light on homelessness and runaway youth. And I'd love it if you'd all attend. It's at Moore Yard, November 10th from 4 to 7. And it's a really important cause. And of course, CDS, it's one of our main populations of runaways. So it's really dear to my heart. So thank you again for the proclamation.
Yeah, I just have one question. Would the yellow safe place signs be representative of runaways so they'll know where the safe places are? And if so, can you kind of give us an explanation of that?
Sure, I'm happy to. I'm the safe place coordinator, so I'd love to. If a child, we are a safe place. We're a SINS provider, so we are the safe place shelter. But the signs that you see all around town, if a child is out on the street, maybe they ran away and they realize that that's not really a great place to be, or maybe they're being trafficked and they're trying to get away from their trafficker, or just even being bullied at school and are afraid to walk home. For whatever reason, they just don't feel safe. They can go into one of the places that has one of those signs and say, I need help. They'll ask them really basically just, what is your name? What's your problem? And then they call us.
Okay.
And then I will generally go down there and go to them. I'll talk to them on the phone, find out, kind of what I need to do, but I will go there and take it over from there, take care of it from that point on. So basically the safe place is really just someone that knows enough to keep the child safe and call us.
Okay, thank you.
Round of applause. Next up is in the spotlight, Ms. Jones, Employee of the Month.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Once again, I just stand before you just to speak on our Employee of the Month. I do want to thank our department heads and staff for their submission forms and nomination forms that came in this month. We had a total of 7, which is a step up. However, only 1 employee will be nominated every month. And so first of all, I'd like to thank our sponsor for this month, our city clerk and Human Resource Department. Employee of the month this round. And so to just acknowledge who it is, it's Engineer Matthew Pope from our fire department.
Back up a little bit for us, Pope. You stand right here.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners,
right in the
we
middle.
appreciate the opportunity to recognize our employee, Engineer Matthew Pope. For almost 7 years, Engineer Pope has been a positive force in our department. He's a well-respected member of our department and the community. In the past, Mr. Pope has been deployed out to the Western United States to help on some of the larger brush fires in our history. Most recently, Engineer Pope has been deployed down to help the victims of Hurricane Ian. His dedication and service to our community is unrivaled. As well, Engineer Pope is a master welder. He's helped design and create our new brush truck that we've had in service for a few years now. I invite you to stop down and take a look at his work. This type of talent saves money for our citizens and creates efficiencies that you would normally have to pay for. We have him working for us, so that helps us out. So thank you, Matt. We appreciate everything you do on a daily basis. Thank you.
Congrats, sir. We're waiting on your speech. As always, thank you, guys. Next up, public comments. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. No action will be taken on topics of discussion. Anyone here for public comment, please fill out one of the yellow speakers cards in the back of the room as you first walk in the door. When you come up, give your name and address so that we will have you for that selection. If you're here for general comment, just fill out your card, and it does not need an item from the agenda. If you want to speak as to a specific item, as that item is called, I'll call you up. I have 1 card thus far for general public comment. General public comment, I've got Mr. Waller. Harold Waller, would you please come forward at this time? He's from Sharon's Putnam's Bounty.
My name's Harold Waller. I live at 149 John DeBob Road in Rico Springs, Florida. It's actually in Putnam County. The mail just won't come to us from Palatka. I'm here to give y'all an update. I was here back in April. Told you I had taken over the Heart of Putnam Food Pantry. So now I'm giving you an update. It's been about 6 months. I've learned a lot, and it's not Heart of Putnam Food Pantry anymore now. We just officially became Sharon Putnam's Bounty. It's a big deal for us because now I'm going to start really trying to grow this a little bit more. Just so you know, we do a relook at everybody that we are giving food to every July 1st. Right now, we have currently at 925 families that we're feeding every month. When I came to y'all 6 months ago, we were giving out food once every 3 weeks. We've been able to cut that to once every 2 weeks now. But that's about maxed this out for where we're at. With my staff of 70-year-olds and above, and we just can't. I can't bring in that much food into that facility, and I don't have the staff to go to once a week. Let's see. I'm now in the process of updating our lease with the city. Got with Eddie cut right back there a couple days ago. I guess we're gonna try to do a signing on the 11th. What that's gonna do for me is that helps y'all out, because right now I've been in a whole position because I want to put a new roof on the building I'm in right now, but I can't write a grant for a roof until I have a contract that shows that I'm gonna have the building. So once I get that done, I'm planning on immediately going for a new roof on the building. And then after that, I'll continue growing from there, fixing the building up. I'm really here to let you know that I've outgrown the building already. I need a new building. I'm hoping that we have something that I can possibly fall into when things start moving around, because I don't want to be a food pantry anymore. That's why I took food pantry off of it. I want to be a center. There's a lot of people in this town that need a lot more than just food. And I find that out every day, every time we have the doors open, whether it's somebody needing help with their Medicaid, Medicare, the SNAP program, or they just don't, they're at their ends and they don't know what to do next. And they just need to talk to somebody, and they don't know where to go in town to go to that. So what I'm wanting to do is create a center that people can come to when they are, whether they're new to Putnam County or just lost their job, or they have never had help and they've just never known where to go. I want to have a building that someone can go to and we can help them from that point, whether it's helping them write a resume, showing them how to get another job. Our goal is to get them from having to receive food and not needing that anymore, and getting them off the 925 and getting them better pay so they can go to the grocery store and do on their own. And that's all I have to say. If you have any questions.
When did you say the lease is up? You're gonna renew it for November the 11th, and you were here 6 months ago. You said you're just coming to give us an update, but when is the lease up? December. How many were you feeding 6 months ago?
6 months ago, when I took over, they said we was doing 400, but when I did my first count, we were actually at 600, and we were not getting enough food in. And within a month after that, we were at 800. Now, every time we open the door, 25 new people, new families are coming in.
You say you do the review once in July, once a year, or how do the families get in? Did I miss something?
USDA requires us to go over everybody that we're giving food to, because that's who gives us food, and we have to get a signature for everything that USDA gives us. In order to do that, we have to do a relook to make sure everybody qualifies for whether they're still getting SSI or income eligible, SNAP. If they got taken off SNAP, then they're not eligible. USDA requires all that to be looked at July 1st every year. Plus, the numbers go up every year on July 1st, which can put some people into the category of being able to get food now.
Oh, so they come in, they sign up once, and then y'all do like a recert every year.
Every year, right?
I got
They
you.
sign up
Okay.
once.
And
Now,
then
they
you do
still
the
have to
research.
sign every time they come in, because I have to take those signatures and give to USDA every month for the food that they give me.
But what about the folks that are not able to come out and get to your building? Do y'all provide any type of services for them? Or do y'all allow them to come in for the research and then someone else to come pick up the food for them? How do you
Well, we
accomplish?
have a proxy form where somebody can come in, let's say you're homebound,
Yeah.
but your neighbor can come in, and what they'll do is they'll take the form and you'll sign it. And then they'll sign it that they're picking up for you. And from that point on, they can come in and pick up food for you. But when we move into the next building, that is one of the areas we're going to start doing, is going to the shut-ins, not cook food, but the same thing we're doing right now. Because I've got a feeling if I've got 925 people that show up, I've
Yeah.
probably got another 250 to 400 that can't even get out the
Yeah.
door.
Okay.
So that's why it's so important. And the only thing I know that people are doing right now is God's Kitchen is they're cooking food 7 days a week, but they can only handle 100 families right now, and they're carrying it out all over the county.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Do we have your information available to make contact with you some type of way, or you have?
Yeah, we have,
Thank you.
we got on speaker
I
card.
appreciate it.
Both have it. Is there anyone else here for general public comment at this time? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. We'll move back into our agenda. We will go to the item number 5, which is consent agenda. So on the consent agenda, we have items A through N. I'm going to ask that E be pulled. Is there any other item that you wish to have pulled from the consent agenda at this time? Any other items besides E and N? If not, I entertain a motion.
Motion, oh, go ahead. I'll let you. Motion to accept consent agenda items A through N with the exception of E.
Second.
Exception of the-
I think that's what I said.
E and N.
The
So
exception of E.
motion to approve the agenda minus E and N.
Second.
There's a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 5E, adopt resolution 2022 R185 to authorize change order number 2 to add the construction of 39 bollards on St. John's Avenue for additive cost of $64,350 for a total cost of $1,802,097.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution authorizing the execution of change order number 2 with CGC Inc. for the addition of removable bollards on St. John's Avenue in an amount of $64,350 for a total contract amount of $1,802,097 and providing for scrivener's errors.
So moved.
Before we move into that, if we can with the motion, before we move into it, I want to have Mr. Griffith just kind of give an overview. The commission gave him an assignment to check into bollards. It was something that I asked about earlier, and I think the commission as a whole had an interest, as well as the agency through the CRA. He's done some independent research on the issue as well.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This graphic, Ms. Tucker was so kind to put together earlier today. What we want to talk to you about is an alternative to the fixed or removable bollards that we were directed to get pricing on. The image at the top of your screen here is the 39 bollards that are proposed with this change order. As you can see, the configuration only lends itself to closing down a portion of St. John's Avenue. Alternatively, the image on the bottom is more representative of what you see with some of our larger festivals and would deploy a removable jersey barrier that can be filled with water. So we still achieve the safety deliverable of keeping vehicular traffic out of the pedestrian environment. And the city ends up with a much more flexible product that we can use based upon the footprint of the different events that we host. And I will add that it costs $15,000 instead of the $64,000. So we wanted to bring that to your attention and see if this is something that you would rather entertain.
Right. And so I think as we look at this, we need a direction from the commission as it related. There's a directive from the commission to bring forward the costing as related to the bollards that were looked at previously. At one point we talked about the pop-up bollards, and really this seemed to be the ultimate goal was to try to be able to eliminate some of the need to have police officers as we do parades at certain events in place, or even be able to maximize manpower in other areas and create walkable zones throughout downtown whenever we start having certain events so that we can cut it off to vehicular traffic. And so staff actually did an excellent job in bringing forth an alternative that would be 1/4 the cost of what we were looking at before. But we wanted to make sure that the commission had an opportunity to look at both of them and make a determination. Any comments, concerns, or questions from the commission?
I think the alternative measure is much more smarter. I mean, being fiscally responsible with our monies and dollars, and he's gone out and conducted the research and given a recommendation that that's the best option to take. I would say go with the cheaper one that can still do the same job as the 39 dollars at a much higher price.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones.
Just out of curiosity, How many would you need at each intersection? Would you need?
So if you'll notice there, sir, and I know the image is kind of hard to read from a distance there, but Ms. Tucker was so kind to put the number of barricades that would be required at each one of those points. So at each one of those roads, you need 2 of those Jersey barriers so that you can't get vehicular traffic through. And you need 3 bollards and 6 bollards at some of the roads like Fifth Street because you have a wider surface area there.
Any other questions? The ones at the top, they're the ones that go into the ground and retract. And
They don't retract. There's a sleeve and you basically, there's a hatch that pulls up and you pop the bollard in and then there's a locking mechanism that goes on. So our staff would still have to go out, take the lock off, remove them and carry them back to the yard.
And then long-term maintenance of the sleeve as well.
And then
Commissioner-
you
Commissioner
you'll
Bowen.
have to fill the bottom ones, the orange one with water.
Ideally, you would fill them with water so that you would have some protection from vehicular traffic. You don't have to. You can use them just to kind of corral pedestrian traffic. But in these instances, we would most likely fill them with water for safety reasons.
Just think about how long it take to fill them up and then transport them. You're gonna fill them prior to, or you fill them in the location?
They're filled at the
On site.
location, sir.
You fill them on site.
I mean, whatever you guys think. I mean, I'm just thinking about from a time standpoint, and the other factor is the inflexibility of the other concrete bollards that you have to do so much additional.
Well, the
labor
other
with.
alternative is what we've done in the past, which is just a combination of signage and cones.
All right, the alternative.
Commissioner Campbell?
I'm all for it.
So you have a resolution in place, which in essence is for the traditional bollards, for lack of any other term, as the barricade mechanism. So if we are asking staff to move forward,
We'd most likely just bring back a budget amendment, allocate the funding to make the purchase. You don't have to take any action on this resolution if you don't choose.
But the amount should change, right?
We take it down to approximately 15,000, sir.
On here, we got 64,350. So we'll take it down to
15.
Sounds good.
so just for the purpose of the housekeeping, I entertain a motion to remove this item from the agenda.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor, and a second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Next up is our regular business discussion and direction. Hank Bryan Park. I'm sorry, N. I was moving a little fast. Next up is 5N. Adopt resolution 2022 R192, release of lien at 1109 Eagle Street. Mr. Cutright before the motion.
All right, this property right here was donated in ADG back in 2008 to have a abandoned untagged vehicle. Our records went to 2013 in ADG showing that it was still there. The property owner passed in between 2013 and 2017 when the new property owner took over the property. In 2020, when I became the code enforcement, we did a case on the property and no vehicle was there at site. So when the lady came in asking for a lien reduction, we couldn't find no definitive information of how long the vehicle was there. So with the conversation with the city attorney and the city manager, we felt that it would probably be best to go ahead and release that lien because we have no definitive information in between 2013 and 2022. That was 2020 when I noticed the property myself, there was the vehicle there or not.
Caption, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution of the city of Palatka granting a release of lien assessed to 1109 Eagle Street, Palatka, Florida for complaint number 0833, authorizing the satisfaction of the lien which is attached to the affected property and providing for scrivener's errors.
Second.
Motion on the floor in a second. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. And so we're going to be bringing forth some other housekeeping matters in the future as it relates to codes, as well as bringing forth the second code officer, so that we can address some of those things from the past that have been lingering.
Another housekeeping.
Which one?
No, just for future reference, Ms. Cartwright, on these liens or anything that's dealing with a resolution being adopted, could we please have some photos? I understand on this one, but I actually thought it was another residence that's on Eagle Street that actually had a code violation. So, yeah, so I will be able to picture what we're talking about, you know, the infraction as well as the correction.
Correct. But just to add to that one, 2008, 14, we have no pictures of that, so that's why.
Okay, moving on. Discussion and direction, Hank Bryan Park.
Yes, Mayor, this is Mandy Tucker, Grants Administrator, Project Manager. Ms. Krantz, if you could please start the slideshow. What staff wanted to do was to bring forward some options for Hank Bryan Park as far as the grant scope goes. So the first slide, waiting until it's up. Someone can let me know when it's up. I can't see the screen right now.
Well, it'll be up in about 2 hours.
Sorry. So what this first slide is going to show you
Not yet.
are
not yet.
Sorry, I was looking for not yet. Not yet. Okay.
Sorry.
We're there. It's up.
It's okay. Okay, so this first slide shows you 7 options for fitness trail equipment stations that staff feels would be utilized there at Hank Bryan Park. At the bottom of the slide, next slide, please. At the bottom of the slide, you'll see 2. Yep, those are the 7 options that staff would like. Nope, go back one, Sunny. So the images of what you're seeing, nope, back one, Sunny. Nope, this one right there. Yeah. So the images are showing the actual machines, what they would look like. You can see at the bottom, there's 2 color combinations that are standard. So either one of those color combinations, and staff felt like the light green on the dark green was a good blend for Hank Bryan. It seems to match the color scheme that we've already got there with the picnic facilities. In addition to the 7 stations, we have the station signs. So at each station, there would be the small little placards that would give the instructions, the ways you could use the equipment. All of these pieces could be ordered, including the shipping, for $10,990. That includes the station signs as well. Then staff is also recommending exercise trail improvements. So there's already a nice trail in the park, but there's some areas of it that could be improved upon. So the allocation of the $12,000 would be for those improvements. Okay, next slide, please. Staff is suggesting putting a fencing around what we've been referring to as the tot area, or the smaller children's slide area. The grant also requires new trash cans. So these trash cans that you see at the bottom are the same trash cans that are utilized throughout the parks at the city. So the interior pieces would be interchangeable. So we also had pricing to pressure wash or clean all of the picnic areas, the tables, the benches, the concrete pads and roofs, the play structures, sidewalks, the park signs, and the parking lot. We are currently getting a figure for repairing the picnic facilities. There's one bench that's missing its seat, and the play structures that are there, as well as the demolition of the metal play structures. But staff is confident that those prices will still come in within the budget. So at this time, the budget of $50,000 would cover all of these improvements. The lead time on the exercise trail equipment is 10 to 12 weeks. So with commission's direction and approval, staff could place the order as early as next week, and delivery would be just after the new year for installation. Be more than happy to answer any questions.
I got one question on the four trash cans for 2,800. That's pretty expensive trash cans.
You know, it does seem expensive, but it's actually it's a cheaper can than some of the other options that I found out there. It's not just one piece, there's an inner sleeve. They're also mounted to the ground. So it's a little more than just a can. But I understand it does seem steep.
Listen, it seems expensive when you're buying those $60 trash cans that roll out for a pickup on. But if you go price trash cans, particularly the metal ones like that, you'll see those trash cans running $1,200-1,500 in some places. They are expensive. And so $700 is actually a bargain.
Yeah, and Mayor, Commissioners, there is an alternative to that. At some of our other more passive parks, we do have it's a similar style, but instead of metal slats, it is wooden slats. And I think the unit cost on those is, I wouldn't say half, but probably close to half. So if you wanted to, save a little money there, we could probably, swap that out.
How durable? How durable are the wooden ones?
It's the same mounting and everything. It's got a plastic liner. It's just it's a metal internal frame with wooden slats, pressure treated, attached to the outside.
But they'll last as long as those? Those are similar to the ones that we do have.
They're both just as easy to rip out of the ground.
But those are made like that.
I'm not saying to rip out of, but sustainable. I mean.
I know, and
leather
I'm joking. That's the one thing that we combat all the time is people trying to rip them out of the ground.
And that's
So,
why
yeah.
I'm more I want those because I know y'all can bolt those down. And they sustain the weather really well. I mean, we've had those around our schools I see for years and they're still there. Versus the wood slat ones that we'll save money on, just the recommendation of which direction we should go in. Because we want to save a little money, but
I would just
save a little money in
ask,
the front, up front, or
I would just ask to just price them both. And I know from a safety perspective as well, looking at the metal, it does get hot during the summer and most of the year in Florida. So that heat really heats up, and if sometimes you can get burned from the metal. And I think when you look at it from both perspectives, see what
I kind of agree. But noting that the structure of those cans are pretty much for rodents, wouldn't go into the cans or have the garbage strewn throughout the park. So that's my interpretation of why they constructed as such. The third question I have is this 50,000? Is this the same 50,000 that we were talking about constructing restrooms at? This is a totally different project.
So that's in addition to what this is. This is just the grant funding, sir. So we still have within the budget, I believe, the request for the restrooms, and we're going to bring that back to you at a later date.
Right.
Okay, and so a comment that since appreciate staff going out, but one thing that personally I would like to see added in there that in the selection of what we're going to do down there is maybe a second picnic area, because that one is small. And it actually have the electrical box under that one covered area. Could we check and see what a cost of construction would be for a second covered area out there would cost?
Would you like it to have a similar look as the existing pavilion? And
Yeah.
Are you wanting a covered pavilion or just a picnic slab?
A small covered area.
Existing like the one that's there or the one at Booker.
Right, yeah, either one of those. And the cut cost is just a question probably for Public Works. That $4,800, is there any way we could cut that cost with utilizing our parks staff to go out and pressure wash those areas? I mean, the park is not that big. And $4,800, that seems a bit much for outside area.
believe it's something that we could entertain for sure. We do have the equipment that we could bring right now. It's just availability, that's it. So we can look at what it would cost us to do in-house. Sure.
Right. I think we should at least explore that option. So, I mean, because if we could save there, we could do some more to the park, is what I'm saying.
All right, Ms. Tucker, you want to break down the scope of what you got there?
Yeah, certainly. Certain areas could be taken out of that pressure washing. The main focus where it started was the picnic areas need to be pressure washed in order to see whether or not the paint needs to be refreshed. It appears that once they're cleaned, they'll be much more appealing in appearance, and we may not need to paint them. So that was the initial thought, to pressure wash. And we thought while he's out there, to get a bid to do all of it, this, you know, every foot of sidewalk, the entire parking lot. So of course that scope can reduce down to where we're just really doing the picnic areas, their roofs, and the pads, to see where we need to work on renovation there. And that could even be handled. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying that, you know, we would be more than happy to entertain and hopefully get, you know, the cooperation of Public Works and do that in-house if it's possible. I don't know how their staffing level is right now.
All right, I've got one speaker card, Ms. Kitchen, if you'll come forward at this time and have a discussion.
Allegra Kitchen, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. Since the issues come up, I'd like to speak on the trash cans. Even pressure treated wood is going to be attacked by termites and different types of insects. So I would suggest the metal cans. And if they burn somebody's hand, they're only going to get burned if trying to steal them, and they deserve it. So stay with the metal cans. I think that's the way to go. Both of them have the plastic liners. But what I want to speak on, and Mr. Jones actually brought it up, you want to save money at Hank Bryan Park? Don't do the permanent restrooms. You had permanent restrooms at the city dock. You had nothing but problems. That's why you removed them. You had all kinds of crime inside the restrooms. You had molestation, you had attacks, you had drug use, you had homeless sleeping in there. You have now you're putting out money to do these wonderful portable restrooms to be moved for events. Move the portable restroom to Hank Bryan Park when there's an event. Don't do if you do the permanent restrooms at Hank Bryan Park, you're going to have the same problems you had at the riverfront. And you're going to have citizens' complaints, and you're going to have a big issue with crime. That would save you money if you'll use the portable restrooms at Hank Bryan Park when they're needed. You don't need it for a little child's birthday party. If they think they need portable restrooms, they can put a portalet out there briefly. But you can save money that way. So I'm just saying, think about putting the portable restrooms at Hank Bryan Park if there's a big deal like the Big East Straight Hunt. Otherwise, don't put permanent ones out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for public comment on this issue?
On the
Just one
restroom.
second. No, not on the restroom. The restroom's not part of the sport upgrade. So. Close public comment on this issue. Any further comment from the commission? Seeing no further comment, do you have any other issues that you need direction on?
Mayor, all we're asking is confirmation of the scope as presented, and if it's the pleasure of the commission, we would note for staff to entertain in-house pressure washing to save some money and to explore the cost of a second covered picnic area. I will tell you that I don't believe that will fit within this scope, but again, what we need tonight is your approval of this scope outline so we can proceed.
Is there a motion to approve the scope subject to the additions and the comments given by the commission to staff?
So move.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor in a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on, item number 7 on the agenda. Item A, PB case 22-33, request to rezone City of Palatka residential, single-family R1 to City of Palatka, commercial neighborhood C1A, approximately 0.56 acres.
Ordinance number 2022-18, an ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, providing that the official zoning map of the city of Palatka, Florida be amended from city of Palatka residential single family R1 to the city of Palatka neighborhood commercial district C1A for the following property: 429 Kirby Street, Palatka, Florida, 32177, Dix map of Palatka, map book 2, page 46, block 45, south 38th, 1/3 foot of west 99.5 foot of lot 5, parcel number 4210 27 68 50 04 50 0050, providing for severability, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date.
So
Mr. Mayor,
if you remember the first time, there was a denial. There was a motion to deny. It was in place. Just so that we'll have a record of that. We're on second reading for housekeeping purposes. Ms. Krantz, anything else?
I was just
You
gonna,
gonna say the same thing?
yes, sir.
Appreciate you. Gotcha. Okay, I'll entertain a motion at this point and we'll go into our public comment after that.
Motion to deny, motion to deny.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. We'll now open the floor for public comment. I've got 3 speaker cards at this time. Ms. Kitchens, you want to come up?
Allegra Kitchens, 1027 South 12th Street, Palatka, Florida. You'll be happy to know this is probably the last time I'm going to come up tonight. I don't think you want to set a precedence that will allow commercial spot zoning to go into my neighborhood and every other residential neighborhood that previously had some kind of commercial use. An individual citizen was denied a conditional use to change their property from single family to multifamily because multifamily is incompatible with the historic district guidelines and not allowed. If you agree to rezone your property, the city property, Hammond Hall, to commercial C1A, which allows a multifamily as a conditional use, you are sending a message that the city gets special privilege over the individual property owner. Please vote no again tonight, or the first time, on the rezoning change for Hammond Hall. And I think you might do that, like it looks good, so thank you.
There's a 99.999% chance that's going to happen tonight.
Well, I certainly hope so. It would take 4 of you to pass it, so let's go for it. Let's say no.
Gotcha. Thank you. Ms. Janet Pettit. Pettit. Let's pet it.
I spoke.
Just
to
give me
Les-
that, give me that address for the record. I'm sorry.
Janet Pettit at 418 Emmett Street, Palatka, in the South Historic area. We, in the South Historic area, have a particular loving of that particular building and that we're speaking of here. And I just want to emphasize that we have a great opportunity to use that to build community. Today's activities are usually in front of a computer or your cell phone, and nobody knows their neighbors. I happen to be on Emmett Street, and we are rather a community there. But I think that we could use that building as a possible community type gathering place. So we could have maybe dances or parties or whatever, and have people get together. I don't know if you've noticed, but the whole country is separated. We have one group hates the other and the other hates somebody else. And we need a place where, when I was young and used to visit here in Palatka, very young, I'm old, and we had a big front porch. And if you'll notice, most of the old houses there have front porches. That's because people used to sit on them. And in the summertime, you sat out there and your neighbors came by and you invited them in for lemonade or something, and you got to know them. And we don't have anything like that now. Everybody's sitting in front of their computer. And I would just, I would ask that this be considered, that one of the purposes of this would be a meeting place for the community, both in our South Historic area, but also for Palatka in general, a place where we can, a cheap place that you could find to meet and have an informal kind of get together. There isn't anything like that. I mean, you could belong to the Women's Club or one of the groups here, but to meet your neighbors, nobody talks to anybody else. And I think we have an opportunity to do something about it. Thank you. That's That's
you.
my hope and wish, and it may not come about right now, but I hope that this will be the eventual purpose for that building. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Visna. Lucy Visna. Good evening.
Okay, I'm actually summarizing comments from previous letters that I had submitted. I guess I gotta give my name and address.
Yes, ma'am.
Lucy Bisnow, 819 Laurel Street, Palatka. Okay, the following comments summarize my previous letters. I and many others in the district and community oppose the rezoning future land use application for the Hammock Hall Community Center and the 2 vacant parcels referenced in PB case number 22-33. Number 1, it is inconsistent with the city's comprehensive plan and land development code since it constitutes flat zoning. Number 2, it would set a land use and zoning precedent as the Hammock Hall Community Center is located in a national designated historic district, which is designated a single-family residential neighborhood. Rezoning to commercial is inconsistent with the surrounding neighborhood. Number 3, the safety of the residents and pets are compromised when creating commercial activity in a well-established residential neighborhood, since any commercial vehicle access to a major traffic route involves having to navigate the narrow streets of the existing area. Number 4, for years now, our entire district has had infrastructural activity resulting in detoured traffic, roads blocked off, and sidewalks being torn up. Meanwhile, large commercial vehicles, well exceeding the size and weight limits for the area, are traveling down these same roads, causing additional problems. Number 5, the city has other identified sites which would make better sense for future commercial development. Hammock Hall does not fit into that category. Please consider the historic integrity of the district, the potential negative impacts to the neighborhood, and the single-family land use, and vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone else here for public comment? Seeing no one. Oh, you're come up. You can just come up. You can fill it out later.
Bernard Meehan, 815 Laurel Street. I guess at the last meeting, Mr. Borum made reference to an MSBU, sort of got glossed over in the whole thing after your vote was to deny. Can someone elaborate on what an MSBU is? I have a general idea. It's another ad valorem tax that we really don't need, but I think it's something that needs to be brought to the attention of the South Historic District and everything involved. And then we are such a dysfunctional association. I think something needs to be done. I don't know what the determination, what the next step will be when you, ladies and gentlemen, vote tonight as to what the next process is. But serious consideration needs to be given, not to turn it over to the South Historic Association. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Borum, you want to respond?
That was just an alternative based on what I'm thinking. If a specific area normally benefits from a particular thing, whether it's a building, service, or whatever it may be, maybe, you know, it could be road improvements or whatever, but if it specifically benefit that unit and that area would be contributing to pay for that building or that infrastructure improvement or whatever it may be. So that's what a municipal service benefit unit is. It's to benefit a specific area or a particular thing, and it does not go out to the general tax populace. That's my understanding of it. Am I right, council?
Sir, I'm not that well acquainted with it, but I can check and find out.
But that's my understanding of it. So that's
Mr.
what
Griffith said that's his understanding of it also.
yes. So that was the alternative to the original thing that Mr. Allen brought forth in terms of the city and the South Historic District working out a MOU to do whatever with the property. So that's what my alternative was to that. So.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any, well, no, is there anyone else here for public comment on this issue? All right, same. He's filling it out for you already.
Cheryl Roach, 312 Dodge. Completely confused pertaining to what the alternates that you're presenting for the future of Hammock are.
There are no alternates presented right now. That was just something that Commissioner Borum spoke of. It's not on the agenda.
Okay, so where do we stand as neighborhood pertaining to?
It doesn't exist tonight as far as what we're doing. We're only voting on the issue of the rezoning and what's on the agenda for tonight.
Okay, so at this, it will just be tabled, or do we have?
It's not table. There's a motion on the floor to deny the rezoning. As we sit here, there are two other items that will be voted on. And if I was a betting man, I would say that they're going to go the same way. And so the rezoning is going to more than likely, substantially more than likely be denied. At that point, the property remains residentially zoned. And so
Okay, and it will still be city managed,
it's city owned.
city owned, okay.
It's city owned. It'll continue to be city owned. The next steps, the last time we were here, I think the conversation was to sit down and talk to the South Historic Neighborhood Association. We've had some conversation, but we're open to conversation to see what solutions are there. We're solution driven. So everybody brings the problem, but we just need people to bring the solution. And so that's where we are, but that's not on the agenda tonight. And so it won't be the conversation for tonight.
Okay, well, the only question I have is if you are discussing anything with the South Historic Neighborhood Association, it's certainly not being conveyed to the neighborhood itself. It's very much a closed door circumstance.
So what we're doing, one of the things that was suggested is that we send communication out to, I think it's roughly 150 residents within the entire district, to send communication out to everyone to let them know so that they'll be, so that we can, so that it won't be an isolated situation with just a handful of residents making the decision for.
It's not even a handful.
I'll put it that way. So I think the communication last time was like 22 people were present. So we want to make sure we get a greater cross section of the district. So that everybody has an opportunity, and just make sure the communication goes out to everybody.
Okay, thank you very much.
And you can get with Mr. Cutright and he'll make sure that he has you on that list when those communications go out.
Okay,
Thank you. All right. You've heard it. We'll now close public hearing, public comment. Is anyone else here for public comment? It's now closed. Is there any further discussion from the commission? Questions called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to orders number 22-20, second reading.
Thank you again. An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, providing that the official zoning map of the city of Palatka, Florida be amended from city of Palatka residential single family R1 to city of Palatka neighborhood commercial district C1A for the following property. Next maps of Palatka, map book 2, page 46, block 45, lot 5, excluding south 38 feet of the west 99 half foot of parcel number 42, 10, 27, 68, 50, 04, 50, 0051, providing for severability, providing for scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date.
Motion to deny.
Second.
It's a motion on the floor in a second. Again, for public comment. Is there anyone else here for public comment? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Roach. Moving on. Orders 22-22, rezoning.
Thank you again. An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, providing that the official zoning map of the city of Palatka, Florida be amended from city of Palatka residential single family R1 to city of Palatka neighborhood commercial district C1A for the following property. Fixed map of Palatka map book 2, page 46, block 45, west 62 feet of the lot 4, parcel number 4210 27 6850 0450 0040, providing for severability, providing for scrivener's errors, providing for an effective date.
Motion to deny?
There's a motion on the floor in a second. Open the floor for public hearings. You want to hear for public hearing? Seeing no one. We'll close public hearing. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to HPB case 22-18, Noah's Ark.
An ordinance of the city of Park, Florida, designating the vessel known as Noah's Ark as a local historic structure and supporting and endorsing the application for nomination for listing in the National Register of Historic Places, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for scrivener's errors.
Second reading for adoption. Is there a motion? There's a motion on the floor. There's a second by Commissioner Borum. We're now open the floor for public hearings. Anyone here for public hearing? You can fill out one for me later. Come on forward.
Roberta Correa, 118 Dodge. I just want to thank the Commissioner and Mayor for approving the application or the submission of the application for the National Trust on behalf of, in particular, Jim Stagey, who was the chairperson of our Noah's Ark Restoration Committee and passed away on September 16th, rather rapidly from leukemia. And we miss him dearly, but in honor of him, I thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for public hearing at this time? Seeing no one, we'll close public hearing. Is there any further discussion from the commission? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next up, HPB case number 22-18, Palatka Waterworks.
Thank you, sir. An ordinance of the city of Palatka, Florida, designating the city property known as Palatka Waterworks Environmental Center as a local historic structure and supporting and endorsing the application for nomination for listing in the National Register of Historic Places, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for scrivener's errors.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Commissioner Campbell. Public comments. Anyone here for public comment? Seeing no one, we'll close public comment. Is there any further discussion at this time? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you guys for being here. It is now 6:30 in Alabama. City manager and administrative reports, comments, Mr. Griffith, in absence of city manager, I'm going to you first.
Mayor, thank you. I'm going to address this item that's under number 8 here, the project progress update for the South 14th Street and South 15th Street drainage. The current deadline is still November 12th, based upon the last 30-day extension. You may recall what they committed to us last time was to have South 14th Street to punch out. Unfortunately, the contractor did miss that mark. However, they have progressed in some other areas of the site, and they missed that mark based upon some subcontractor delays, mainly the concrete subcontractor. But I'll report that 14th Street Crushcrete, first and second lift are done, so it is ready for asphalt. From 14th to 15th Street, the second lift of Crushcrete is done, so it is ready for asphalt.
When can
as
we
well
expect
as-
that?
Sir?
When can we expect it?
They're shooting to have asphalt by the end of November now. Laurel Street has the first lift of Crushcrete in. They're waiting on the second lift. And Laurel from 14th to 15th Street, they're expecting to lay down the second lift tomorrow and this weekend. 14th Street, another item that they missed the mark on, they were supposed to start today, and the subcontractor did not show up for was what's called the flat work, that is sidewalks and driveway pours. We're hoping to get a report tomorrow that that subcontractor shows up. 15th Street curb straight runs are scheduled for November 2nd. That's next week. And the Carr Street curb is prepped, but the subcontractor did not show up. So we're expecting that to occur from November 2nd to the 3rd next week.
That's different curbs. Those are different curb subs from what's going on with Landmark.
Yes, sir.
Got a question. When the contractors or subcontractors don't meet those timeframes, do we have any clauses in there where there's any penalties or anything like that where?
Liquidated damage clause?
Mm.
A liquidated damages clause?
Yeah, we need something in there to where, it's not constantly impacting us moving forward with different projects, because the more we continue to wait on them, if it's not something that we can't get, like material or whatever it may be, then we constantly work on their performance. If they below the performance, we might need to consider using somebody else.
So if I could add to that, sir, just for clarity, we have liquidated damages with the prime contractor, which is DB Civil. What I'm reporting to you on these specific dates and measurables is not typical of an arrangement between the city and our contractor. What we leave to them is means and methods. So they set their schedule, they advise us, but this project is far past its original deadline. So what we're doing is coming back to you and we're reporting every week, and we're asking for more specific deadlines. And we didn't want to hold anything back. While they missed the mark on those few items, they did move over to other areas of the project site and keep advancing work. So that is a positive note. We'll be back in front of you on November 10th, which is in advance of the contract current deadline, hopefully with a positive report, because I think everybody just wants a brand new
Some
road and to
progress.
close this thing up.
Right.
But didn't want to sugarcoat it. That's all.
All right, so yeah, and so in the full scope of things, what you're saying is they're not holding up any project. They got other things that they can continue to move forward while they.
They're just shifting. They're shifting on the delay. The other thing is, if you look at 14, if you look at the whole area as to what we typically have during storm incidents, during heavy rain incidents, it held. The work that was done in place, even with the base just being there, it's held, and you didn't have the flooding in the area that you typically would have. So that's kind of where we are.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
The real and the true update.
Council, have anything?
No, sir.
Ms. Jones? Bill? Mr. Cutright.
Make sure he's limited to 2 minutes, please.
3 minutes, 3 minutes. No, I just want to elaborate on the situation that Commissioner Jones is bringing up about the cases and ADG. What we're looking at trying to do is bring somebody in that's a contractor or anything. We have 5,700 ADG cases, code enforcement cases in ADG, and a lot of them are small cases, from grass and debris to abandoned vehicles that hasn't been closed out. And what we want to do is try to get somebody here to kind of close these out, because that's the city attorney. We start trying to abate or foreclose property. These liens are becoming to the forefront, and people are trying to either sell or close these liens out. And it's hard for me to regulate something that's date back to 2002 and has sketchy documentation going forward. So that's what we're looking at trying to do. Can't help clear that up. But going forward, anytime we bring a lien, we'll bring something before and after pictures, so you'll see what we're working on. All right.
I appreciate that, Ms. Cutter. And on that note about staffing or contracting, have you even considered cross-training personnel to try to, accommodate, or, when something is slow, some areas are slow, like when we're not having enough, I don't want to
Well, I can
point anybody.
We started out with 6,500. So along the way, when we have slow days, we've been trying to knock them off for myself, David, Aaron, and we're trying to bring Rigo in once he get kind of caught up with fields and everything. So we're doing some cross training to a certain extent, but we just need somebody to get in there for about 3 months to dedicate themselves for 8 hours a day of just really cleaning those out, because you have to read the cases, go out and see the property, and then come back and make an assessment of whether we close it out or not.
I got you. And I want to say you guys are making great strides, and we see the actions. And as a matter of fact, I want to give kudos while you're up here to code enforcement, law enforcement. I went out to a case where we had a case with some squatters, and made a call to the chief of police. Chief of police looked into it, got code enforcement involved. And you guys went out and took care of the issue. And I got a lot of calls from the community that said that our commission was responded as well as our staff, and I really appreciate it because when y'all make us look good in those cases, you know? I mean, they're calling us and you guys responded right away. And I want to give you, I think the fire department went out too one day because they had a fire at that place. So I want to give all you guys kudos and appreciate you.
Okay.
Keep up the good work.
Mr. McNair.
Rent our house. That was rent our house.
Yeah.
Commission, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
One item. So for the balance of this week, the airport would be seeing a lot of increased activity with parachuting. So the Round Canopy skydiving team is working on some training sessions this week. So you'll probably be seeing a DC-3 aircraft operating at the airport as well as a helicopter. So that should wrap up about 5 to 6 o'clock Sunday evening. It's not a fly-in. We've been getting a number of calls about fly-in this weekend out. It's not. It's a training session. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of activity, but I just want to give you guys a heads up to, you know, if you guys get any calls or.
Thank you. And they're pretty good progress is being made. I see the frames are up for the T-hangers.
Yeah, certainly. You know, frames up. You know, they're coming together. The weather's been great. So, you know, I believe the month was January, first part of February completion time. So, hey, we're looking forward to having some new facilities at the airport and working on some other things. So, a lot of things going on.
They had Blue Angels had a fly-in over in Jacksonville. Can you do anything remotely close to that for us here in Palatka?
Takes a little time.
Good answer.
The remotely close would be
You hear that, Doc?
proximity.
Miss Grace, we don't normally have you around, but you want to, for our commission meetings, you got anything for us? We keep Putnam beautiful. Anything new going on? It's always a pleasure to have you here. We don't get this blessing all the time. So come on up.
Actually, I do watch it on Zoom where Oh, okay, thank you. Good evening. I do watch on Zoom quite religiously, but I can put it on 1 by 5 when I watch it. So everything goes very quickly, even those ones that last till 10 o'clock at night. So I'm watching. I do have someone that's interested in adoptions in the city, and I'm going to be contacting administration about it. I just got the call at 4:30, so Madison Street all the way through. So I hope.
Thank you.
But yeah, everything's going great, and I'm going to be taking a ride on the golf cart through the trail, to the urban trail through the city as well. So things are moving. Thank you very much.
Be happy to assist with anything.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Chief Shaw.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I had Ms. Krantz place the NIBR statistics in your packet, so I'm ready to answer any questions that you may have for the NIBR report. And if I can't answer them now, I'll gladly make sure I get back to you on those questions, answer to those questions at a later date.
Human trafficking the year before last. I one case in one of these reports, as it kind of stuck out. I thought maybe it was last year, but I guess we can look back at them, but that was kind of off weird for Putnam County with the human trafficking, and I just noticed it wasn't this one, but if you can look back.
I'll definitely look into it. I'll give you a call and let you know. I don't remember one right offhand, but I'll look through it for last year's statistics.
So I guess a couple things kind of stand out. Even with things that have gone on in the community, this is from January 2021 to October 2022, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
So your homicide numbers are down 25%?
Yes, sir.
And even with the events that took place March and April, Your violent crime numbers in some categories went up, but in total violent crimes, you only went up 16% with the multitude of events that took place during that time.
That's correct. We are up in some areas of violent crimes. We are, where we're normally up in simple battery, we're down. Aggravated battery and aggravated assault, as you can see, is up. And those incidents from the beginning of the year did drive our violent crime up as it stands right now for 16%.
And then, so, I mean, I guess contrary to popular belief, your total crime number is down 18%.
That is correct. Total crime for the city of Palatka currently is down 18%.
So I guess that's a number that we need to make sure we get out there, because I guess the perception is reality. For some people, they believe that crime is up in Palatka when crime is actually down 18%. And so, go ahead, Commissioner Jones.
No, sir, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to make sure that the numbers were highlighted on some of these things. I know as we looked at them, and you know we had a period where it was crazy, for lack of any other term, where it was just kids who were, you know, event after event after event, shooting after shooting. Even with those things in place, you still are showing a significant decrease in crime based on your neighbors.
But no, but as I look at the robbery and assault, it's up 200%, along with aggravated battery up 127%. So how do you get those numbers? Because
so as you can see, it's measured to the previous year. So when you look at your percentages, you're basically averaging out from current year against the previous year. So when you say 127% being up, you're actually looking at 25 opposed to 11 the previous year. Or you're looking at 12 this year opposed to 4 last year. So the overall numbers are not something that you get as recent or as much as a simple battery, where it's 126 this year opposed to 132 last year.
but that number.
So the basic
that
math,
number don't.
the basic math, if you basically divide it into, divide this year and the last year and divide it by 1, you'll get your percentage rate.
But the other thing, if you remember, that stood out from the past was at the point where you had all that activity going on, that you were up 600%.
That's correct.
For a quarter, and then you started this. You're seeing this number trend down because the incidents are decreasing.
That's correct. So it may be on some incidents, it may show where there's not as many incidents in the category, but when you divide them into each other, when you compare them to each other, your percentage rate is higher coming in the new year. And it can even be by two cases can drive it up a large percentage.
Based on the number.
But I think the nutshell of it all is, I mean, it's not necessarily. I think anytime you have any violent crime, it's an opportunity for us to get better at it.
That's correct.
And I think the efforts have been put in place. I think the critical piece now is to continue the efforts to get guns off the streets, to create additional activities for these kids, for our citizens as a whole, to make sure we're identifying the mental health issues that are out there, because a lot of this stuff is based upon mental health. A lot of it's based upon socioeconomics. It's based upon a gang of things, and it's interrelated with some of the school activity. It's interrelated with things that are taking place in certain neighborhoods or all around the city in many cases. But I think we got to continually just push forward, be proactive, and have a collective process, but also creating alternatives and empowering citizens and communities to be able to have resources and people that they can go to. And so, having the pop-up events in communities, continually having the engagement with the faith-based community, all those things. Community-oriented policing, same stuff that went on for a number of years. I think it's really the key to all of it, but it's community engagement as well. And we all got to be a part of that.
And just to add, as you know, we're looking at crime preventive measures, equipment that we can bring in to help us with the cameras that we just talked about in the last meeting. But just to add to that one also, and in discussions with the state attorney's office and assistance through ATF, we are looking at them coming down and helping us to test fire all weapons that we were able to get off the streets. Not only weapons associated to crimes, but any weapons that we seize in the streets, which ordinarily wouldn't be done. We're going to be test firing them to see if we can connect them to any other crime that was committed before being seized. So methods in joint cooperation through different agencies is being put in place to where we can attack the violent crime on different levels.
Anything else from the commission?
Just got with this last classification of offenses at the very bottom. You know, you got the stalking, arson, funneling, human. The other miscellaneous. What is that category? What would entail some of those?
So all of the crimes, as it occurs, when you look at UCR, all of the crimes wasn't considered. With NIBUS, it's brought into effect with all of the crimes, such as drugs, such as things that are basically used to be part 2 crimes in UCR are included in NIBUS. So those are included in that simple category.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Jones, is there I guess an area we need to look at and get back with you on?
No, I'm just looking at the breakdown of the violent crime. Everything else is okay.
I'll review it and look at the numbers. And
Yeah,
send it back out to
I didn't get the same numbers, but I like what you said about how we're trying to combat the violent crimes, because that is a concern. The violent crimes in the area, and I know, like the mayor said, we had a time where it just kind of got out of hand. But I am glad to see the efforts that you guys have made to actually curb those violent crimes. And I know last week we talked, our last meeting, we talked about the area on 18th and Reed Street. And hopefully you and Mr. Vickers got together. And if you gotta follow up on that, did you guys get together?
Sure. We did meet last Thursday, myself, the city attorney, as well as the city manager. We had a very good meeting, in my opinion, but we both agreed to come together. Mr. Vickers is going to make some changes. We're going to make some changes in how we respond, and I think it's going to be very productive. So we did reach some agreement, and we're going to continue to put those things in place from here on out.
Glad to hear that.
On that part of it also, can you maybe once you start that process with Mr. Vickers, we kind of send the same thing out and get some more entertainment, all the entertainment spots within town, have to see if we can maybe create some type of collaborative effort from all the shop owners together.
We are already meeting with Dean Still. We've had some calls from Dean Still, so we're already scheduled to meet to sit down with Dean Still and discuss some of that stuff on the issues that they're having on their property as well.
Right. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you. Anything else for Chief on this issue?
On November, nothing else on the crime unless you guys have any other additional questions.
I do have one more.
Yes, sir.
Are those tag readers across the bridge? Are those the ones that we as a city purchased?
Glad you brought that up, sir. As so far as of yet, we have not purchased the tag readers, but those tag readers that you see are across the bridge are something that we are looking at bringing back to you. Original cameras that we brought to you were only tag readers. What we want to bring to you is tag reader as well as a motion camera, and it's going to be within the budgeted amount for the same number of cameras. But talking to Mr. Griffith, I want to be able to present it to city manager and allow for the city attorney to review the proposal before bringing it forward to ask for permission to purchase. But it is within the same area. It just gives us a larger option. What it does is instead of reading on reflection, which is just a tag, it goes off of motion. And it also allows us to search. It has a broader search. So if I'm looking for a suspect vehicle and all it has is a bumper sticker, that allows me to search for within all the queries that vehicle within itself. Not only the county right now is going into them, but it also allows HOAs, apartment complexes, to also be able to purchase the same kind of cameras. And we are able to use them for that purpose. And we're in discussions with a couple of organizations throughout the city looking to hopefully move forward with the assistance of them purchasing them as well.
And you can sync those with regional, with other agencies
We
that
will
use
be able to
similar
sync them
technology.
with outside agencies as well as the county as well.
Right.
And they're gonna be in the city limits.
They will be in the city limits in various different areas throughout the city.
Thank you. Sounds good.
On outside of that, if we have any more questions on crimes, we can move forward to our on-site. On November 1st through 3rd, our accreditation on-site will be occurring at Black Police Department. We will have official accreditation assessment. The accreditation confirms our pursuit to the highest level of professionalism, operational transparency, and a desire to maintain excellent law enforcement. 3 assessors from throughout the state of Florida will be here to conduct electronic file reviews, performing interviews, going on ride-alongs, looking at training, vehicles and equipment, and pretty much anything else that basically can help show what type of department we're running currently and that we meet the standards of accreditation. That'll be occurring again on November 1st through the 3rd, as you are aware. In August, we went through our mock. We passed our mock, and so we're looking forward to the assessment, and we believe we will come out okay and approved moving forward for the February appointment.
Okay. You got some events this weekend?
Yes, sir. First, starting off the event, you must know my notes. First starting off the events, we have the Fall Festival. It's going to be on Saturday, followed right after the Pink Walk, which is at 8 o'clock in the morning. Fall Festival will be starting at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And again, it's an annual event. It's going to be down at the riverfront. Multiple different organizations that's going to be there, food, fun, and fellowship. Please join us at the Fall Festival. Following the Fall Festival, as you all know, we have Trunk or Treat. Trunk or Treat is going to be Monday, following Bowen Avenue. It will be at the riverfront from 5 to 8. And as usual, we usually get a very strong turnout from the commissioners. And I'm just going to ask you not to get too amped up with sugar. And to
One piece of
expend
candy.
all the candy within the first hour.
Everybody to my left. Listen, it's typically my right side, but this time it's the people on the left who get a little hyper.
He's very generous.
Don't be in the roadway. And what, Commissioner? You got about 4,000 people, so you got to limit what you do with the candy.
I cut it in half.
We are expecting, being that we're going to be in conjunction with Bowen Avenue this year, following right behind it, we are expecting a very large turnout again this year. We have a number of different things that we're combining with the event to have. We got contacted by multiple citizens within the city and also business owners who wanted to be able to participate and be able to provide some service. So we are really looking forward to a great event.
Wow.
Anything else, Chief?
No, sir, that'd be it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
It's now 7 o'clock in Alabama. Anything from Revitalize? I've had Keep Putnam Beautiful here. You got anything for Revitalize for us? Okay. Ms. Walsh. Chief. Really? Ms. Krantz.
Just a couple of things briefly. The Mary Lawson Brown Marina dedication is scheduled for November the 5th at 5 at the Water Taxi Terminal Building. We're looking for the public to come as well as our commission, of course. Light refreshments will be served afterward. I will admit the 3 of the youth ambassadors have actually been asked to sing the national anthem. So when you were talking about singing, I was like, oh yeah, that's to come. So I'm very proud of those guys. Nextly, just to mention briefly, a new planning clerk did start this week at City Hall, and the planning department's doing an excellent job of training them.
Okay. Mr. Dennis.
Nothing to report from the gas authority, sir. Things are good.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioner Campbell.
In the words of Whitney Houston, I have nothing.
Yeah. All right, Mr. McMillan. Already went through. Didn't I?
No, you didn't.
I got you right, Mr. McMillan.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, he came up first. Okay.
He was early in the process.
I apologize.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Campbell, I didn't hear you.
In the words of Whitney Houston, I have nothing.
I wasn't necessarily prepared for that quote. Commissioner Jones, top that.
No, I do have a couple of questions for department head. And for consideration for the entire commission. And the first is for the city manager. However, Jonathan, Mr. Griffith is sitting in. Want to know the update on the strategic plan. We haven't spoke about that after we have done that several months ago. Wanted to get an update on where are we with it. You know, we're moving forward with things in the city, but we haven't gotten that concreted. You have any update on that?
Let's just put it on the next agenda.
We can do that. We can put it on there for discussion at the November 10th agenda, sir.
Okay, so the vendor got back with us already?
Say again, sir?
Have the vendor that's supposed to be completing that strategic plan that we already kind of like
So if you're
discussed?
speaking in reference to the plan that we did with the Northeast Florida Regional Planning Council, it was completed, commission accepted, and it was transmitted to DEO to wrap up the grant scope of work. The next logical step is probably to review the strategic plan in addition to tracking the status of the legislative priorities that were recently set.
That's the part I'm talking about. Yeah. All right. The second line of question I have is if we have we had any progress with the Johns Medal and our efforts there? I know code enforcement, law enforcement, and administration has started. I would like to know where we are with that.
So, no, I'll take this. For the purposes of not doing this in a public forum, I'll ask you to get with council after this so that you can talk about that. And it doesn't need to be discussed in the public forum.
All right. Council, would you get with me on that? All right. And the last thing I have is that's for HR, but I'll wait. Well, HR, could I skip the HR? I'll do that outside the public forum too. I'll talk to you later. All right, that's all I had.
Okay. Commissioner Moore?
I have nothing.
Commissioner McCaskill, I guess she
Mayor Hill, if I
stepped
may,
down for a second.
being Commissioner Borum didn't want to announce it, may I on his behalf?
You can.
Commissioner Borum was recently made the president of the Northeast Florida Northeast Florida League of Cities. I was about to say regional council, so sorry. Northeast Florida League of Cities.
Congratulations.
All right,
You're supposed to report that.
it was, don't take over to December, but I appreciate that. They sent it out. So I just want to thank everybody for all of their support. I thank the commission for allowing me to serve on that board. And again, I'm just trying to do whatever I can to represent the board, the city, and everybody who visits. So thank you, guys.
Also, Commissioner Borum also just won his election. His opponent withdrew, so he's in for another term. Stick around, applause.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Commissioner McCaskill, got anything for us? Not so much. So since Chief took up all the time, I don't have any comments for tonight. We're just moving forward. It is now 7:05 an hour.